As usual, out of anger, I was not able to control myself and said hurtful things to my family and hurt them. I shouted at my parents today because of something that happened at work and I'm feeling so guilty about it. I flew into a rage because of an argument with my husband and ended up breaking my phone. If only I had thought it through. Smallest of the things trigger intense anger and provoke you to throw items around, break things or yell loudly. Your anger makes you blow things out of proportion. Hi, I'm Urvashi Bisht, head psychologist at heyy and a practicing psychotherapist with more than 5 years of experience. Today we will be talking about anger, its consequences and its management. We all certainly express anger in our lifetime and we all know what anger is, whether it's fleeting annoyance or a full-blown rage episode. It is one of the most common human emotions that marks a healthy sense of ourselves. But it becomes problematic when it becomes out of control and destructive. It becomes problematic when it starts affecting our work life, personal relationships, and overall quality of life. Anger, like any other emotion, can bring about physiological and biological changes. When you're angry, you can feel that your heart rate is high and blood gushes way too fast within you as you feel the irritability kicking in. Perhaps it is a never-ending traffic jam or a delayed flight. Perhaps you feel mad at your boss for making you work late or that your date cancelled on you last minute. While these are external factors making you feel the anger, there are certain internal factors that can contribute as well. You could be brooding over your personal problems or memories of traumatic events may trigger such angry feelings within you. Given that anger is an instinctive feeling, the most natural way of responding to it is aggressive in nature, be it verbal or physical. This type of open aggression makes people lash out angrily, often hurting themselves or others. This type comes out in the form of picking up fights with others, bullying people, blackmailing them, accusing, shouting, bickering, criticizing them, or passing on sarcastic remarks that could hurt the other person. Another type of anger is when people don't like to admit that they are angry because they don't like confrontation. We term this as passive aggression. When they're angry, they may become silent, they may put things off they need to, procrastinate, sulk, and also pretend that everything is fine. But in reality, things seem to go out of control. To establish the same, one may resort to passive-aggressive anger. To a certain extent, anger does help in our survival. It is an inspirational and truly a powerful feeling that helps us to fight and defend ourselves when we are attacked. Therefore, this certain amount of anger is necessary for us to survive in dangerous situations. But at the same time, we cannot lash out on others for everything that annoys us. There needs to be a set limit to how far our anger can take us, and the third type of anger can help us achieve that. The healthy way of dealing with anger is by being confident in communicating how open we are in dealing with the anger-provoking situation. One of the ways of practicing this type of assertive anger is by thinking before blurting anything out, listening to the other party, and being patient before considering raising one's voice. When one deals with anger assertively, one demonstrates maturity and care about oneself and their relationships. If you want your needs to be met, communicating your needs in a way without hurting others is the right way of going about it. This way you can be respectful towards not only your demands but also others' limits. Anger needs an outward expression. Sometimes when we suppress our anger, we try to focus on the positive and try to convert this anger into something more constructive within. But this too can prove dangerous, for when anger is not allowed an external expression, this anger can turn inward or towards ourselves, causing hypertension, high blood pressure, or mental health problems like depression and anxiety. This type of passive-aggressive and unexpressed anger does create problems in a way that can create one's personality perpetually hostile and cynical. Research shows that passively expressing anger can make one more pessimistic, making them prone to find negativity in everything they do, criticizing everything and everyone around them. Ultimately keeps their relationships at bay. Anger activates the fight or flight response in the body that notifies the adrenal gland to throw in hormones that will help us become more focused and sharpened towards the danger we see in front of us. The adrenal and cortisol makes sure that we are ready for physical exertion, to make a move and save ourselves. This in turn increases the heart rate, blood pressure, respiration levels, etc. These chemicals settle down in the body and can only be burned through a physical outlet. When in anger, people resort to unhealthy ways of burning these chemicals: hostility, and aggressive behavior. But aggression only triggers more aggression, and our brain keeps on producing these stress hormones at a constant rate. When there is a constant flow of these stress chemicals in our body due to unmanaged anger, it eventually causes harm to our health, both physically and mentally. People with anger issues may develop chronic headaches, skin problems like eczema, and long-term digestion problems. Chronic anger can also lead to increased anxiety, depression, and can also increase one's propensity to break the law through the violent nature with prevailing anger. Digging deeper into the perpetual grimaces behind anger, we see that there are underlying emotions being masked by anger. There are primary emotions fueling anger. As a matter of fact, even boredom is a mild version of anger in the form of dissatisfaction with the current situation. Feeling sad or fearful are also often the underlying emotion manifested in anger. The former feelings are quite uncomfortable to feel. It causes people vulnerability and makes them feel as if things are not under their control. Organically, people tend to push these feelings away and avoid them. Subconsciously, they turn to their anger mode, which helps them feel more energetic and in charge of themselves, rather than feeling helpless and vulnerable. And anger, on the other hand, gives a feeling of control and power in their lives. While this sense of control can help one maintain a good emotional well-being, excessive desire for this control only leads to destructive consequences, and it's almost impossible to have under control, especially others' behavior. Not to forget, anger can lead to irreversible, painful consequences. Hitting someone brutally may lead to legal ramifications. Verbally abusing someone, misbehaving with someone may also damage your relationships. Picking fights can also cause problems at school or work, ultimately causing physical and mental health problems. Evidently, both suppressing your anger and acting out on it can be threatening in one or the other way. Therefore, expressing anger in a healthy manner becomes crucial at that point. Let us dive deeper into constructive ways of articulating feelings of anger. Address the bottled up emotion to avoid breakdown. As discussed earlier, having suppressed our innermost feelings or avoiding our truest interpretation of how certain events make us feel is like sweeping the dirt under the rug or keeping the lid on a boiling pot. Studies show that people who suppress their feelings are at greater risk of developing long-term illness like cancer or heart disease. The first step of knowing your anger is the awareness of it. Know the cause of your negative emotions. Self-reflect and ask yourself these questions. What am I feeling? Am I angry, scared, jealous, or anxious? When did this feeling start? Did I experience a life event that caused this? Is it because of heartbreak or losing a job? Do these feelings take over most of my day? Is it time to make changes? How are my relationships with my family and loved ones? How's the atmosphere at home? Do my emotions affect my relationship with my loved ones? Where are all these feelings coming from? Avoid bringing past arguments and conflict in current situations. Surely, they can be triggers from the past repeating itself in the present, but every experience is different, every context is different. Bringing in older conversations and conflicts can remind you of your state back then and re-imbibe the negativity that you felt last time. If you do remember a similar experience, try to address it in a better manner, remove yourself from the situation that makes you angry and channelize it elsewhere. Perhaps write it down or wait till you calm down to talk about it with the concerned person. Learn to forgive your past. Drink water. As cliche as it sounds, taking a pause from mental exertion or taking a sip of cold water can actually help you calm down a bit. To unwind from your anger-provoking thoughts, that simple activity of consuming water helps our organs feel fresh. Studies have shown that being just half a liter dehydrated can increase one's cortisol levels. A good hydrated status can keep our stress levels down. When we don't give our body the fluids it needs, we are putting stress on it. Try drinking 3 to 4 liters of water every day to keep it mellow for yourself. Refrain from engaging with anyone or any activity. Anger can be provoking enough to make us act impulsively. We might say things or do things we later regret. For example, driving rash after an argument with your partner can result in road rage, making you more prone to accidents. Talking to your close ones after your boss makes you angry, there are higher chances that you will lash out your anger on them and ruin your relationship with your loved ones. Only once you are calm and patient enough, do indulge with others. Till then, try to address your anger by identifying healthy patterns of coping. Perhaps listen to your favorite tunes or take deeper breaths, etc. If you feel out of control, walk away from the situation temporarily until you cool down. You always have a choice. Angry people do have a tendency to swear, curse, or speak in a language that reflects their innermost feelings. While in anger, thinking can become more dramatic and exaggerated. Try resorting to more rational ways of thinking if you can catch yourself from becoming more dramatic with your thoughts. For example, this is awful, everything is ruined. Tell yourself it's frustrating and it's understandable that I'm upset about it. But it's not the end of the world, and getting angry is not going to fix it. Be careful with your choice of words. Refrain from using terms like never, always. These will actually make you justify your anger and tell you that there is no way you can solve this problem by yourself. Remind yourself that anger is only going to make things worse and lead to inaccurate conclusions. What indeed will solve the problem is when you can think straight and not with more dramatic mindset. Humor it up. Humor can actually help in diffusing your rage to an unimaginable extent. When you are mad and see things going out of control, try to surround yourself with things that make you laugh. Save a funny meme you saw on the internet or watch a funny video. Humor can actually make things seem more creative and give you a perspective to constructively look at situations. Tap onto your playful side. Again, don't cover up your emotions or laugh your problems off, but just try to use it to see things more constructively. There are also more creative ways to express your anger, one of them being engaging in mandala design worksheet. It is said that coloring those can help you manage your anger. Coloring may help some feel more relaxed, just like meditation does. Seek professional help. Emotions can be hard to process, and it can truly be challenging to process these emotions. If you feel that you don't understand your emotions or how to deal with it, a therapist can help you explore what you're going through. If you feel that your anger is really out of control and it is affecting your relationships and other important aspects of your life, seeing a therapist may help you handle this better. They will also help you in establishing self-helping strategies and tools to better manage your emotional experiences. So next time, when you're feeling angry, pause for a minute to check with yourself. See if you're able to identify reasons behind your feelings of anger. Anger is a secondary feeling, and it will require patience from your end to identify thought patterns causing you to feel a certain way. Have you watched Inside Out? When Riley is really struggling with the transition and feels that she's at her worst, the character feeling angry steps in with the decision to run away. All she can think about is moving back to Minnesota, where she had more positive and happier memories. The decision is made in anger at a time when the positive character feeling joy is away, and it ends up reflecting that exact sort of semi-irrational thinking that happens when someone is angry, sad, scared, etc. What's more, when the emotions start to think that running away may have been a bit drastic, they discover that, like a lot of angry decisions, it can't easily be undone. However, in the beginning, we also see that anger can be more useful than we think of it. The movie describes anger as making sure things are fair for Riley. It's an important reminder that emotions don't just drive our thoughts and behaviors, that they are useful and important for us if expressed in a constructive way.